Now, Sports Talk with Brodes. Here's Hunter Brody.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Sports Talk with Brodes. This is a crazy time, without a doubt. We have a football team where we need answers. We have a football team where we deserve answers, and we're not going to get any answers, and we're probably going to get the same results that we have had over the first 10 weeks of the season, and it's going to be upsetting. You are going to be annoyed every Sunday when you sit down to watch this team. If you still do. I mean, let's be realistic. If you choose not to even watch anymore, good for you. I can't personally do that. I don't know if I have the willpower to do it. And of course, it's my job to break it down, so it would be a terrible mistake by me. But let's say it wasn't. I don't know if I have the willpower to just say, you know what, I'm not watching. But kudos to you if you do choose that option, because I'm jealous. This is going to continue to be painful. It's going to continue to upset you, disappoint you. You will be devastated. All these sad emotions. It's going to continue to happen. I'm just letting you know. But if you know going into it, maybe it's different, because this past week against the Giants, let's be realistic. There was a sense of optimism because you're getting back Lane Johnson. You're getting back Alshon. You have Jalen Reagor coming off the thumb injury, but now you have him for another week after his one game that he came back from. So you're just being super optimistic. Miles Sanders. That's why it was more upsetting than maybe if you go into a week going, dude, we just suck. We suck. Not that we didn't think that heading into New York, but that has intensified a bit after you fall and collapse the way that you did. Now, we are broadcasting live, as always, from the Manscaped Man Cave. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. I do know that there's a ton of NBA news breaking as we speak. There's a lot of action going on, so be prepared for some Sixers talk, some NBA talk as this week continues. Of course, we have the NBA draft on Wednesday, so Sixers talk, NBA talk, it will be coming without a doubt. It's a lot happening. Woj is breaking bombs, dropping bombs, I should say, at 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m. I'm going, geez, Woj, I can't even go to sleep waiting for some sort of trade. Drew Holiday goes to the Bucks, paid way too much. Craziness. All right, let's see what the Sixers do. But for right now, we do need to keep our focus on the Eagles. I can't let them slide. I would love to be distracted by something else, by another team. Don't get me wrong. I would love for that to happen, and it will. I know it will. But as of today, right now, this very moment, I can't let them escape, because they deserve to have the crosshairs on them forever after the garbage that they have put on the football field. So what we are going to continue today is reacting to the Anytime Hotline phone calls. The phone number is 856-442-9805. The phone line's open 24/7. Leave your reaction, leave your thoughts on the Philadelphia Eagles or any hot topic of the day, of course. But right now we got a ton of calls to get to, and I like this because people call in throughout the week. And Sunday night calls are aggressive, and I love it. Monday calls, pretty aggressive still. I love it. Now that it starts to get Tuesday, Wednesday, it's definitely a different feel. Don't get me wrong. I am so frustrated with what I've seen. Obviously. But if you go back and watch Sunday night's post-game pod, I think you will see a different level of rage than you will see today. I'll tell you what, though. I've been going off. From that Doug Pederson is Clueless podcast all the way to yesterday, I've just been freaking out, losing my voice, going crazy. This is the way, though. This is the way that I vent. This is the way that I get out how I feel. If that's how I'm feeling, I got to go all out. We have calmed down a bit. I acknowledge that. We'll see where this takes us. Who knows? A couple phone calls going one way can get the juices flowing again. So let's start this bad boy off. All right, the Anytime Hotline. Here we go.
Hello, Brody. This is Dwayne from Richmond, California. And this game is just so frustrating because we know in the pocket, Wentz will sell balls. So why won't we just get him out the pocket? Roll the pocket. Change the directory of where he's going to be at. That's number one. Number two, Schwartz always want to have his corners back 5 yards. That stuff, it kills me. It really kills me. I play corner. So I want to get in somebody's face so I can smell their shitty breath. Excuse my French, sorry. Number three, it's just play calling. Doug, I haven't seen one crossing route all game. I haven't seen one dig route. I haven't seen none of this. Miles Sanders is averaging 6 yards a carry. Run him to the ground. But we're just a bad team. Thank you, Brody. You have a good evening.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for the call. A lot of good points. So we touched on Wentz and the not escaping the pocket thing. Yeah, it's a Doug Pederson issue. No doubt about it. And I read you on yesterday's pod, and I'm going to pull it back up, what Dan Orlovsky tweeted out, because it was a disgrace, and it totally goes right back to the coaching. It took till 7 minutes and 16 seconds left in the third quarter for the Eagles to get their quarterback outside of the pocket on back-to-back plays, which resulted in 40 yards of offense. Never called again. Absolutely the definition of hard-headed, and it's just factual information. That's what that is. Now, Mike Gill and I were going back and forth on 97.3 ESPN on Monday's show because he feels, look, if the head coach has a quarterback that can't even make simple throws when he's standing in the pocket and he's sailing over the heads of the receivers and tight ends, well, I can't blame the coach. That's what Mike Gill says. So he's, by the way, to be clear, he thinks that Doug Pederson sucked. But if you had to choose who was the bigger problem, he's going quarterback because he can't make simple throws. Well, if you are seeing your quarterback succeed, if you see your quarterback actually make plays in other ways, you have to adjust. If your quarterback has zero confidence and isn't playing well, but he can do one thing very well, why are you not utilizing that method? That is stupid. You can see that he's struggling in that area. Fine. Carson Wentz should not be missing wide open throws when standing in the pocket. But it doesn't mean as a coach you just allow him to keep doing it. If you can get something positive out of Wentz right now where he is clearly at the lowest part of his football career mentally and statistically, of course, then do that. He's actually making plays leaving the pocket. And to be fair, this is something that he's always done well. He's always been good on the run. So how is it not implemented in the game plan to begin with? This isn't something that you're only doing now because he is not performing well. This is something that should always be used. Always. All the time. Because he's so damn solid at it. So this is a coach who's not acknowledging that Carson Wentz has a skill set that he's so good at. You know, he's not Drew Brees, he's not Aaron Rodgers, he's not Tom Brady, he's not... Everyone has their own identity as a quarterback. Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, Josh Allen, all these quarterbacks, they have a different style to them, and their coaches look at their style, and they work with the game plan based off of what they can do so well. They don't do that with Wentz. They just don't, and that's a problem. Jim Schwartz, he does play soft coverage, and there was a moment specifically that stood out to me where Darius Slay, your best guy, your guy that you brought in here to be that shutdown corner, is playing soft coverage, and it allows them to get an easy first down. That's the guy you say, dude, you stick on him, and you make sure that he can't breathe, right? I mean, you suffocate him with Darius Slay. There's no reason to play him back so much, so that is something that I definitely feel needs to change at times. There's times where I'm okay with it, and there's times where you need to bring the intensity up when you are a DB, when you are a corner, and especially when you are Darius Slay. If we're talking Craig James or Avonte Maddox, I can see why you would play softer coverage because you don't want to get beat off the top or if you have a slower guy. But Darius Slay can totally do it. So when I see Darius Slay hiding back a couple yards, it's annoying. It is.
Well, that was just fucking pathetic. Sorry, you're going to have to blurb that out. Sorry, my bad. That was pathetic. That was completely pathetic. Doug Pederson, you need to be fired. The receivers were terrible. The defense was getting ran through like hot butter by Daniel Jones, a literal freaking running back. You lost to this team that didn't have Saquon Barkley. The team is totally pathetic. They're not disciplined. They're injured. Carson Wentz needs to be better too. The entire team's a joke. I don't even want to win this division anymore.
Well, the whole division thing, like not wanting to win it, do I still want them to win it? Sure. I mean, I still want them to win it, but I don't care anymore right now. Right now. I do know that people keep talking about this and that, and if they win this and the Giants do that. I can't think about that right now. My brain is mush when it comes to this team. It really is. It's all over the place. It's gooky. It's slimy. The last thing I'm thinking about right now is the division. At the end of the day, if the Eagles make the playoffs, is that good? Yeah, I mean, you want them to make the playoffs, but it's so far off base at the moment. It is. It has fallen so low. This team has dropped to such an insane level that conversation, I don't even feel is valid at this very moment. That's all. I can't go down that road. Now, you mentioned the Giants being a little banged up and not having Saquon Barkley. I know the Giants are trending in the right direction, but they're still not a good football team. They're not. With all due respect, they're trending in the right direction. They're not a good football team. So for them to do what they did, it's kind of embarrassing, really. They won that game. At no point did I think the Eagles were going to actually win. Even when the defense settled in a bit, because there was a time when the defense settled in and the Eagles were pushing, I never truly felt like, hey, the Eagles have them right where they want them. Nope. And you didn't have the quarterback turning the football over. Carson Wentz, that is. Same with Daniel Jones, but heading into it, I almost felt like the game plan from Doug P was, hey, Carson, just don't turn it over and we will win this game. And that's why I thought I saw a lot of what I saw out there from the play calls, from the play design. Like, just don't turn it over. Well, guess what, Doug? I don't know if that's necessarily true or the right way to go about things, because you got slapped by Daniel Jones and Jason Garrett. Unbelievable.
Hey, Brodes. That was a horrendous game by the Eagles. They fell 27-17. I'm not surprised by the result. The Eagles are just not a good football team. Even though we didn't have any injuries or we were starting to get healthy, it didn't make a difference. Travis Fulgham wasn't really there today. But you got to give the kid a break. He can't perform every game and carry the team. I wouldn't blame this on Carson Wentz. He's just not getting help enough. Doug Pederson, I think you have to get Doug Pederson out of here. Play calling is horrendous. 4th and 10, just let Jake Elliott kick the field goal. I know he's been struggling, but there's no reason for going on 4th and 10 when you can try and get the ball back.
I don't know if I was a big fan of a field goal in that situation, but that play should not have been there, and Doug is continuing to go down the road of more like hey, that was a Carson problem, not my play call problem, because there were other options out there on the field that Wentz did not go to, and I did question it at the time, and I did bring up, I was pissed off thinking that targeting Bradbury would ever be a thing, but that's where, as a coach, shouldn't that be addressed before? Hey, Carson, you know your reads, you know your progression. Go to Fulgham. Go to somebody else. Let's utilize the progressions here. That shouldn't be your option. Like, that's your last option. That needs to be addressed beforehand. If your quarterback is that bad right now, which he is, at some point you got to give him as much information that he needs. Sadly, whether that's right or wrong, whether it should be that way or not, if you know that he is to this level of not understanding what's going on, you're going to have to give him as much information as he needs. If you want him to go to a certain side, why not tell him that sort of information? And if you did and he's still not doing it, okay, well then you really do have a major problem. But I would find it hard to believe if you said, hey, Carson, make sure you go to Fulgham's side or another side before you look over to Rager and Bradbury, their best outside corner, and he still does it anyway within seconds. I don't know. But here's what I do know. I'm starting to question, like Travis Fulgham, okay, he came back to life a bit. Did he come back to life a bit because, well, he's not what he showed us through the first, 5 games of his career? Is he not that on a consistent pace? All right, it's not a knock to not be at that type of level because he was on one of the best stretches you could ever imagine. So it's okay if he's not to that degree. But he came down to life a bit. Is it because Carson Wentz or is it because of Travis Fulgham? Greg Ward, he's a nice slot guy, but he's not that great of a wide receiver. He's just a reliable slot player. Jalen Reagor, he has a role. You need to scheme him open. He's a player that can utilize his skill set best. If he's schemed open, you can get him the football. There was that great 4th and 1 play where he got the ball and then he exploded and got the first down where Carson Wentz kind of dumped it off to him. You got to scheme this kid open and then he can flash what he does best. He's not this one-on-one epic, insane receiver that you can just go throw to and he's going to make the play every single time. That's not who he is. You got to scheme him open, and that scares me considering I don't trust the scheme at all with this head coach. And Dallas Goedert, didn't we anticipate him being more? Well, he was awesome when Zach Ertz was out there. Now, he's not really a guy that is being effective, yet Richard Rodgers is. Is there something about being tight end number 2 that is the reason why these players are getting open? Goddard at tight end 2 is unreal. Rodgers at tight end 2 is becoming that guy. Dallas Goedert as tight end 1, not as much of a role. Like, what's going on here? And I bring this up because, are we putting too much stock in what we have? Oh, look at all these weapons Carson Wentz has. And this is not an excuse for Wentz because he has sucked. I'd give him an F-. He has sucked. But have we been overblowing what he has? Seriously. Fulgham yesterday, that's probably more of who Fulgham is than the 80-yard game, 75-yard game, 100-something yard game. And I'm not saying Fulgham stinks. But did we overrate Fulgham? Did we overrate what Reagor is right now? Yes and no. I do think scheme plays a factor. You got to get him the ball in open space. If Sean McVay had Reagor, I bet you $1 billion you're talking about him in a totally different way than we are right now. Doug Pederson doesn't utilize him properly, and that's an issue. But Goddard hasn't been that explosive guy since coming back and since he's been tight end number 1. And Ward is just a guy. Like, what are these weapons that we have? Did we overrate the weapons and who they really are? I think it's a fine question to ask.
Yo, bro, that was painful to watch us lose to a terrible Giants team. And I hate to bring this back up, but you asked why Eagle fans want us to lose out and not go in the playoffs. And I get playoff experience would help, but this team is garbage, okay? Really, man, at this point, I mean, and Wentz ain't playing well, man. This whole thing is a mess. There's going to be a lot of evaluation at this point to see who we even want to continue with, I think, for next year at this point, because that was terrible. But at the same time, though, man, I mean, I think we all kind of knew that this was coming. Just the injuries are really too much to overcome.
I don't know if I really saw this coming. Because seeing this come, unless you meant the game. Did you mean the game? But no, because you said the injuries were a factor, right? And the injuries would say the opposite for this specific game. You got players back. You got players healthy. Although with Opeta and Matt Pryor on the line, that was a legit joke and a nightmare situation. But let's just say you meant, and maybe I'm interpreting this the wrong way, but we all thought that this would be coming from a team standpoint this season. Carson Wentz and Doug Pederson, you have no clue what these two are. I have zero faith in both of them. I never thought in a million years I would sit here and say I don't have faith in my quarterback Carson Wentz and my head coach Doug Pederson after they did what they did, not only in 2017, but the end of last season when they were driving downfield, beating up on weaker opponents. I understand that, But they were impressive victories, 4 in a row, get to the playoffs. I was always annoyed with being 4-6, 5-7, and rah-rah on your way back, and I said that's not a way to live forever, but I did still feel like there was power to what they did. Last year, at the end of last year, I was impressed with Wentz and everybody involved in getting back on track. I would have never imagined in a million years we're sitting here today questioning what you even have at those two positions, the most important positions in football. It does suck. The best way to describe it, I think you nailed it. It's painful. You said this was painful. It is painful. It really is. It's a painful, miserable watch every single damn week. With the playoff experience, you're right. It's not the same. It's not the same as I felt it was 2 weeks ago. But once again, right now, today when we speak, that's so far off of my brain. I got other things to worry about right now than just a playoff game and playoff experience. I don't know the future of this organization from the most two important pieces of a franchise. So for right now, that's where my head's at. It can't be about the playoffs right now. It just can't. By the way, autumn is in the air. And Manscaped is here to ensure that you don't carve your pumpkins when you're grooming. And by pumpkins, we actually mean your boys downstairs. In fact, Manscaped is on a mission to change the way you approach caring for your balls. And great news, they just released their products in the UK, Canada, and Australia. Let's think about the best trimmer ever. Okay, the Lawnmower 3.0, which offers a replaceable ceramic blade with advanced skin-safe technology, which helps reduce grooming experience. They have their new Weed Whacker out, which is their ears and nose hair trimmer, uses the same skin-safe technology. How about their ball deodorant? Everybody knows the pumpkin spice lattes and ball deodorant goes hand in hand. Body wash, ball wipes, you name it. And the best part is the formulations are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code BROD at manscaped.com. I use all of their products, and I am telling you right now that they are all amazing, tremendous, and if you do not utilize them, you have to utilize them. Once again, promo code BROD, 20% off and free shipping. All right, let's get to another phone call.
I can't keep doing this, bros. This is too much. You know, that was an all-around horrible game on every single level. I'm not ready to fire Doug, but we definitely need someone to take the play calling from him because that was abysmal. Going for a 2-point conversion when we easily could have won with a touchdown and a PAT after. So that was just the decision-making, going for it on fourth, going for a 2-point conversion. It's just bad in the defense. I can't put myself through this every week. It's bad for my health.
Oh, I just hear the sighs and it makes me feel awful. Like you have no clue how to even get your emotions out. That's where that sigh comes in and overpowers your statement. That shows you are defeated. And I'm not saying it's the wrong way to feel. I think we all feel defeated. We all feel miserable every time we watch this team. Now, you said something important that stands out to me. You know, you said you don't know if it's time to really fire Doug Pederson, and I have been destroying Doug. I have been criticizing him left and right, saying that this guy has no clue. But I don't scream the words, fire this guy, fire that guy, get rid of him, get rid of this guy. There are times where it does lead to that. There are times where I feel strongly about that about an individual after a certain amount of time. But with how upset I am with Doug, I'm not screaming, you got to fire this guy instantly today. That's not how I operate. And that's not how good franchises operate. Now, I'm not saying that it would be the worst thing in the world. I think that there are other people who can totally do a great job, especially with the new era of football. Someone can step in and do a better job than Doug Pederson. I'm not saying that he's the best coach ever, clearly, and he's the only one that can do this job, but he did win a Super Bowl, whether you like that or not. He's been what he has been since then. He has won a Super Bowl, and that does mean something. I'm not screaming it's time to get rid of him this very second. I wouldn't be mad if at the end of the year things were addressed. I'm not screaming that it's mandatory, though. I'm not. I see a coach that I have seen do a better job. It's almost like I expect so much more out of Doug because I've seen him operate at a higher level that when he's playing to this degree, or coaching to this degree, I should say, that's why I rage. I rage because I've seen him perform at such an elite level that I'm holding him to that standard. And same with Wentz. When I freak out about Wentz, when I hear people say that Wentz had a good game on Sunday, what are you watching? We have not lowered the bar to that level of, well, he didn't turn the ball over, so he played okay. No, he did not play okay. He sucked. And I voice that frustration because I hold both of them to such a higher level. Does that mean I'm giving up on them every time adversity hits? No. And this has been the ugliest form of adversity I've ever seen in my life, especially coming from Carson Wentz, who played at such a high level. I mean, you're talking MVP-type level quarterback to this degree. You don't see that. You just don't. This adversity is strange. It's weird. It's unique. It's not comparable to any other situation that you have seen. And with that all being said, I will scream, rip my hair out, bite my fist, throw things all over the room, kick all the dog toys, you name it. But that doesn't always relate to this guy needs to be gone this minute. I wouldn't be upset if they go down that road eventually. I don't see it happening. But I'm also not banging on the table saying everyone's got to go, if that makes sense. Because you do get that type of reaction around this town. Shocking, I know.
Hey, bros, what's going on, man? We're not a good football team. That game was so hard to watch. It was hard to watch Doug not run the ball with Miles Sanders, giving him only 15 rushing attempts when he's averaging 8 yards a carry. It's so simple. Just run the dang football. Carson should not be throwing 37 times when the O-line cannot block for more than 2 seconds. Run the ball. The Giants can't stop the run. Doug's got to go. Jim's got to go. I can't stand Jim having the cornerbacks playing 7 yards off. Like, it's not, you're just giving them easy yards every time. He's got to go. And I want Howie going because he can't evaluate talent.
Okay, so that's weird that this is the next phone call that was not timed or anything. I don't listen to these calls prior to reacting, so I want to get my initial reaction to the calls, so I don't listen to them prior. That's what I don't want to do. You got to get rid of Doug, Jim, Howie, everyone, because that's been being said for 3 years now, right? This isn't the first time this has been being said. Now, I would say that this is the time it's most valid, considering we've never been this low in the new regime of Doug, Jim, and Howie Roseman. But that's been being screamed for so damn long. I think it's over the top over and over and over again. That's all you hear every time there's a bad game. Every time the defense is the reason why they lose, Jim Schwartz needs to be fired. Every time the offense stalls and looks bad, Doug Pederson, or the offensive coordinator, gets a lot of hate. Mike Rowe was one of them last year. Like, there's always someone who's the target when that individual side of the ball has a poor performance, and everyone's raging that that person needs to be canned immediately. And I feel that gets way too much of the reaction. Like, that it's not how it works. That's not how sports works, where every time something goes wrong, you fire the person in position every single week. Once again, I do think it's more valid this year than any other year, but I'm still not sitting here today saying wipe everything clean and start all over. I think there has to be change, clearly. But to just scream that everyone needs to be canned, I'm not there yet. And I'm not saying I won't get there. Who knows? I have been a riot so far this season. This has been the most red-faced, screaming, spitting I've been in a long time. I'm just not there yet to say, everyone's got to be gone right now. I can't do it. We'll see how it goes, though.
Jason Garrett and the 2-7 young bulls step up to Jim Schwartz and Dougie P and wax us, man. Off of our bye, too. We were so unprepared. It was disgusting. And it's my third message. I just can't get it off my mind. Golden Tate and Shepard just exposing themselves on our secondary. Golden Tate, a guy that we said we couldn't use, a weapon that we couldn't find a use for in our system, and it's all just such a joke. Such a joke. And we now actually have an amazing amount of offensive weapons, and we can't find a single use for them either. We put up 17 points when we have Miles Sanders gashing them, when we have Fulgham. Guys did drop balls, and it was not good. but a lot of this comes down to Dougie P. A lot of this comes down to Jim Schwartz. A lot of this comes down to Carson Wentz.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. And it comes down to the preparation for me. I thought the preparation was garbage heading into the game, and that's where it was lost. It was lost in the meeting rooms. I can't stress that enough. This was a preparation failure. You mentioned all those weapons, though, offensively. I don't know. Are we overvaluing the weapons? I think it's a fair question to ask. Are we thinking that these weapons are better than what they actually are? Coming off the bye week, it kills me. It makes no sense that you could be so strong with short rest going into Thursday Night Football, and when you have more time to come up with the game plan, you fall flat on your face. There's no way that what you drew up was the best that you possibly could have done. And if it is, then you are in some trouble. You have so much time to come together and prepare for this game, this matchup, to view the Giants, to look at what they do well, to look at what they do poorly, to attack their weaknesses, to come up with a stronger philosophy offensively. And you were horrendous. Now, Avonte Maddox was garbage. I think that Golden Tate play was against Roby Coleman, right? It was Shepard who went up on Avonte Maddox. Avonte Maddox cannot play outside. And I feel bad because this is what you're yelling at. You're yelling at a guy who shouldn't be playing in a certain spot, having to play there. That goes on Howie Roseman for roster construction when it comes to cornerback. You can't assume that a 5'7", 5'8" type DB can play on the opposite side of Slay on the outside. It's not going to work. It's not going to be effective. You're going to get shelled. And it happened. So am I mad at Maddox? That's not his role. You're asking a guy to play a role that he's not going to succeed. You're putting a player in a position to fail. When you do that, that's not even a Schwartz problem because that's your best option, honestly. It's one of your better options. So with that being said, you know what? That's a roster failure. But going back to Golden Tate, you're right. How can you not find a way to use this guy in an offense? This guy has just had success. He's a successful receiver in his respected position. For what he brings to the table for his role offensively, he's got a nice, solid role. He's been around making money being that guy, yet the Eagles couldn't find a way to do that. I mean, this Doug Pederson offense is a joke to me. It really is. It's embarrassing that he struggles to this degree.
Coming out of the bye off a win. Team's getting healthy at the right time. Everybody's getting hype. We got everybody coming back who matters. Miles Sanders, Lane Johnson, Alshon Jeffrey. Everything's supposed to go wonderfully. They reel us back in like they always do. And then they drop a giant turd on us. And then we remember why we were fed up watching this team in the first place. They reel us back in. I don't know how they do it, but they always seem to find a way to get us excited, Brodes.
You know what's funny? We actually mentioned this on the Sports Bash. What if they beat the Cleveland Browns? Wouldn't it be the Eagles to beat the Cleveland Browns? To beat them good? Carson Wentz has 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. The offense is flowing. They look good. Fulgham gets 2 touchdowns. Alshon gets a touchdown. I don't know. You name it. Somehow they beat the Cleveland Browns, and then you're confused again. Wouldn't that be the Philadelphia Eagles? I would say it normally is, but is this year so much different? Does this year have such a different vibe that there's just no way? See, remember, when they lost to the Dolphins, we had the same feeling of this team just feels different. This team is a different type of beast. But, and I say that in a different type of beast as if they're just a dumpster fire. But they were different, though. The quarterback wasn't this version of the quarterback. The head coach wasn't this version of the head coach. They did have some impressive wins under their belt to that point that season. This year they don't. They have no impressive wins. 0. The 49ers was not an impressive win against Nick Mullins and that banged-up 49ers team, even though it was on the road. It's not impressive. That Dallas win? Hell no. The win against the Giants? Hell no. No, it wasn't. You were down 21-10 with a couple minutes left. Yes, the ending was cool, but you didn't feel satisfied after that win. This team has no good wins. But it would be Eagles to find a way. I just feel that this year, that's not who they are. This year, it's not who they are as a team. You know who is a team? DraftKings. That's a team you want to be a part of. DraftKings has brought their expertise to legal sports betting. It's a legitimate sports book based right here in the U.S. So you can rest assured that your funds are totally secure. DraftKings, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is safe, secure, and reliable. Deposit and withdrawal at your convenience. All new users have a chance to earn a sign-up bonus up to $1,000. That's insane. Download the app and sign up with code BRODES. Check out all that they have to offer, including player, props, live betting, and so much more. If sportsbooks are not yet available in your state, don't forget about the DraftKings Fantasy app, which offers millions of dollars in total prizes every single week. And if you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We're flying through these. All right, what's up?
What's up, Brodes? Man, that was a rough one for sure. Man, I'm putting this one completely on Doug EP and the defense here, man. I'm not trying to give Carson a free pass here, but man had the line pushed back in his face all day. Low snaps, people weren't catching balls. Don't get me wrong, he definitely sailed a few. But man, the game plan was just so terrible. And, man, I know you're a big fan of Schwartz. I know I'm not a big fan, but it's just bad, man. Like, every time we got momentum, it was taken right away from us. And hopefully we can do something better than this.
Now, with the Schwartz thing, yeah, I've defended Schwartz because I think the overreaction is so incredibly wrong that it blows my mind people don't see that he is a successful D coordinator. Now, just like the head coach, and I said someone could do a better job. Can someone do a better D coordinator job? Yes. Here's the difference. Offense in the NFL, it's new. There's this new life to it. You can get these younger guys, right? Sean McVay, Kingsbury, all these people, they have a new element added. With the D coordinator, it's not the same. You don't go out and get that lethal D coordinator. When you look around the league at the D coordinator, there's that standard older vibe, and Jim Schwartz has figured it out to a degree. Now, he has flaws, but ultimately, there's going to be, let's say in 16 games, right? There's going to be maybe 3 or 4 games where you can look at the D coordinator and go, you really didn't have it that game. And okay, but if you're talking 4 out of 16 games, and you're getting 12 strong games from the defense, that's kind of what you're going to get. Like, how much more do you want? You can't demand 16 games. That's just not reality. You can't demand 15 games. That's just not reality. There's going to be times. This is standard. This is just the flow of an NFL season. So if 16 games, if you get maybe 4 where the defensive scheme gets beat up a bit or it doesn't look so strong, but in other games it's phenomenal or it's good enough or it's great, well, you're still in a good position to succeed with your D coordinator. See, here's the difference. I don't know what Wentz and Doug is. I know what Jim Schwartz is. I know he'll bounce back. And to be fair, let's go back to roster construction. TJ Edwards and Alex Singleton sucked. They sucked. You saw what it's like when they play legitimate minutes and they don't play their best. That was a huge flaw in their defense. So they don't even have a linebacker that can play. They don't have an outside cornerback. Their slot corner in Roby Coleman stinks. I don't really like what you got other than Rodney McLeod at safety. So, yeah, their defensive line needs to win their battle because that's their bread and butter. But this defense is not built to be some dominating defense. The defense, if their defensive front's not going, it's not good based off of their personnel. So everything that we have when it comes to a conversation with this team, there's so many layers to it. And the roster on the D side, it sucks. It sucks. So I don't know what D coordinator everyone thinks is going to come in with this specific roster and have much of a different result is my point. It's a problem from a roster building standpoint.
Hey, what's up, Brodes? First and foremost, want to say, really enjoy your content and your videos. It gives me some entertaining stuff to watch throughout the day. Second of all, I think Doug Pederson may have CTE or a case of early on-site dementia. I don't know why he's going for 2-point conversions when he could have just made it a 3-point game with an extra point. Don't know if he keeps on doing that. But yet against the Bengals, he plays for the tie. Doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And I'm not sure if Doug is aware, but teams do film study, unlike maybe the Eagles, and they know what's going to happen when Jalen Hurts is out on the field. I mean, the read option stuff is not working, and they're trying to justify the pick, which is extremely frustrating. Anyways, hope you have a great week, and that's all.
Thank you so much for the kind words in the beginning. I really do appreciate that. I'm glad I could give you a little bit of entertainment, if you will. Doug Pederson has no clue what he's doing right now. Now, is this a product of not having trust in the quarterback? I think they're all together. Doug and Carson, it's together. See, people are like, well, Doug Pederson won a Super Bowl in 2017. That's fair. I said that was valid, and you can't take that away from that. You just can't. You can't take that away from Doug Pederson. He did win the Super Bowl. So people question, well, did he just forget how to call plays? I can't imagine him just falling off as a coach. Well, you could say the same about Wentz, and it did happen. Wentz went from MVP to, okay, he took a step back, fine. He had back problem, knee problem, injuries played a role. He had a good back half to the season last year. Brought him to the playoffs, stayed healthy 16 games, got hurt with a concussion in the playoff game. You can argue that, well, Carson Wentz was once great, and now you don't know what he is. He just fell off the face of this earth. He's the worst quarterback in the league. Can't that happen with Doug? He was a great coach. He was awesome. He was at the highest point of the league. I know it sounds crazy that a quarterback just did it. Why can't it be the same with the coach? And now you have two guys that have fallen off so much trying to bang heads and come together and be one and unite, and they're struggling to do it. There are some that think Doug only looks this way because Wentz is playing so poorly. I think Wentz is playing so poorly because Doug Pederson also took such a crucial step down where now they are both at a step down. The reason why I got so upset with Gil on the Sports Bash is he said he would give Doug Pederson a D- and Carson Wentz the F. I'm giving both the F. Giving Doug a D- is almost giving him a pass for me. He doesn't get a pass. He doesn't get a pass. He was just as bad as Carson Wentz was. And it's not just about the missed throws that Wentz had. It's not just about the opportunities that were available where Wentz sailed it over the heads. That's not what it's about. It's about everything. 0 for 9 on third downs, that's not just a Wentz problem. That's a game plan issue. It is. So many problems. Jalen Hurts. Oh, it's a joke. It's a joke.
Hey, Brodes. Just sitting back thinking of after watching this L from the Giants game, what is our offense identity? Like, what do we do well? Do we run? Do we pass? I have no clue. I know back in 2017 we were RPO heavy, but now we don't even do that. So I don't even know what is our focus on offense. Every time we step on the field, what is our number one goal whenever we snap the ball?
Great question. Phenomenal question. Nobody knows, and that's an issue. So we had Colin Thompson on the Sports Bash, right? And if you don't know who he is, he played at Temple and played a little bit XFL, AAF, and boom, now he's on the Carolina Panthers. Played for Matt Rule at Temple. Now Matt Rule is obviously with Carolina. So he's playing with the Panthers. He had his first NFL catch and his first touchdown on Sunday. We had him on the show because he's a good friend of ours. And I asked him, did you guys practice that a lot for this upcoming week, knowing like, hey, this is going to be utilized at some point. I got to be ready for the moment. He said, of course. And he said, what we did was we used a package where we used one of our premier running plays so much that people assumed we were going to use that. So what they did was they fooled the defense by using one of their premier packages that they use all the time in the run game to make the defense feel it was going to be a run because he's a blocking tight end. That's what he does. And the reason I bring this up is because you never see that with the Eagles. You never see one of their premier plays like, okay, this is what they normally go to. Then they use the same formation, slip somebody out, and expose the defense for biting on one of their normal plays. They don't set up anything. That play by the Panthers, it set up Colin Thompson to be wide open in the back of the end zone. The coaching staff here, they don't think ahead like that. They just pick plays. That's their identity. Pick plays and see if it works. I want to see a play, use it 3-4 times. All right, it might work, it might not work. It's just about setting up the 140-yard play because you're in the same formation. You run a play action, which opens up other plays. They never do that. They don't have an identity. That's your answer. What's their identity? They don't have one. And that's why you have a problem. All right? That's why you have a problem. I want to thank Orbit Energy and Power for being a great sponsor. With over 20 years of experience in the industry, they are home to your solar experts in residential and commercial projects. They are dedicated to making sure that your project is completed easily and properly by using high-quality materials and trained professionals to get the job done right. Their solar program helps eliminate your electric bill completely. $0 electric bills I'm talking about, people. They also provide water purification systems, backup energy services, battery storage, and more. So check out their information. It's all down below. This team will be the death of us. We all know it. It's wild. Thank you all so much for listening, and I will see you next time.